guys, welcome back to Candid Convos.
We are your hosts, Gina and Emilita, and we hope you guys are having a great week. And if you're not, then hopefully we can distract you for a little bit.
We can make your day a little bit better, a little bit brighter.
Right.
Coming at you this week, we decided we kind of segued to it last week when we said we wanted to do an episode on conspiracy theories. So we are bringing up a couple. We're going to bring up a couple each. We also wanted to do some updates in the short segment that you guys still have not named for us. Kind of rude. We wanted to bring up some updates to the Gabby Petito case.
Last episode, we talked about Gabby Petito case, which is still very open and ongoing. So the beautiful Emilita is going to lead us in our update from what's been going on since last week to this week.
You're too much. The crowd goes wild. No, I'm just kidding. So the first update following the recording, which we did on Tuesday, September 21st. So we have the first update on the 22nd of last week, Wednesday of last week. Arrest warrant was issued for Brian Laundrie, the fiance of Gabby Petito.
Her potential murderer.
Right. Let that be noted. Say it again for the people in the back and for the Laundrie family, who are now being referenced as the dirty Laundrie family, which Gina and I highly agree.
Yes.
And there was actually, speaking of the fuckery, there is a public statement from the attorney of the Laundrie family. This is a direct quote. Listen to this shit, guys. Chris and Roberta Laundrie do not know where Brian is. They are concerned about him and hope the FBI can locate him. The speculation by the public and some in the press that the parents assisted Brian in leaving the family home or in avoiding arrest on a warrant that was issued after Brian had already been missing for several days is just wrong. End quote. Shut the fuck up.
It literally says they're just concerned, not even like they're extremely devastated. They're so worried about him and
distraught.
They're concerned about him, and hopefully he's found. But
hopefully he turns around and
what happens. Right.
Like whatever. Okay, cool. The Petito family also had a press conference on Tuesday, the 28th, where her family, it was actually both of her parents and her step-parents got tattoos in memory of her that resemble the ones that she had on her forearms.
This is a direct quote from the lawyer, from Gabby Petito's family's lawyer, saying that the Laundries didn't help us find Gabby. They sure aren't going to help us find Brian. End quote. They also announced that they've started the Gabby Petito Foundation to provide resources and guidance to other families searching for their children, which I think is very beautiful. I know, like, usually, I feel like I don't know. Whenever I hear things like that, it always just makes me think, like, obviously, God forbid, but if I was ever in a situation like that, like, would I have the strength to, to put so much energy into building a foundation? And obviously it's for something beautiful, but so new and so raw of everything that's happening, and with it still being that he's missing, and all this, like, the fact that they can pull themselves to do something like that is insane to me.
He basically said something along the lines of, like, I hope with this tragedy, like, good can come of this. And like you said, I couldn't imagine, being in their shoes and already having that, like, love in their heart. And I don't even know what word to describe, the strength that they have to, like, pursue helping other families, and
yeah.
They were also mentioning that they agree with a lot of the public that are saying, as much as her case has gotten, exposure and a lot of people invested in it, like, he is
like social media attention.
Yeah, exactly. He's hoping that with the foundation, he can bring and shed light to, like, other people and get their names out there. It's actually been proven. I think a couple people have been found because of this whole investigation being started.
Didn't they find the other boy? Oh my gosh, he was a college student,
and a dad that was missing as well.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So unfortunate circumstances that it had to happen this way, but they really are making and honoring her name and her memory in a really great way. So
at least like not, not saying making it for like, not for nothing,
we will also leave some resources in the description box on 2 separate things that you can donate to that is legit, and one goes directly to the family in a GoFundMe, and the other one is for the foundation that was started in her name. On September 25th, Dog the Bounty Hunter actually got involved in the search for Brian Laundrie on his own for personal reasons, because he had lost a daughter that was around the same age as Gabby. So he felt it really like heavy on his heart to be involved, or at least offer to be involved. However, he has his own resources and things. He actually has claimed to have brought in at least 8,000 fugitives in his career. So there's hope here that he will find Brian Laundrie. He actually went to the Laundrie residence attempting to speak to Brian Laundrie's father, but the door was never answered. So they completely ignored him. It also has been confirmed that Roberta, Brian's mom, actually called 911 on Dog the Bounty Hunter for him being on their property that day.
They're like really, really not making it seem like they're innocent.
No, not
like
at all.
In the slightest.
Not at all.
It's like they know that eventually he's going to get caught and it's going to get proven that it was him. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to prolong it pretty much,
right,
by not saying a word and not saying where he is, and they don't know and all this stuff, but they're just trying to prolong pretty much. I feel like the inevitable. Well, mm-hmm. I guess I hope,
and it's crazy because they ruled her death a homicide, obviously, mm-hmm. but it's pending like full autopsy records, which supposedly will be available within the next 3 weeks. So I'm really curious to see what injuries they found and why they suggest that it was a homicide rather than, regardless of how her body was placed and where they found her, mm-hmm. but what made them decide right away that it was a homicide? Usually that takes a while, no?
Right. I thought that too, like, especially right now that you're bringing it up, it's like, if they're not exactly sure the exact cause of death, how do they know it was a homicide?
Right. Unless it's obvious.
Exactly. So like then they would know the cause of death because they can see clearly what happened. But like,
right.
So what was it? Was it just like marks on, certain marks that she had, or like
suffocation?
Yeah. But then that would again be the cause also.
It's just so many people are behind the case and so many people are bringing information forward that it's like overwhelming in a way, just because you don't know what's true, what's speculation, what's confirmed, what's bullshit, so it's kind of hard to even follow the case sometimes because there's just so much,
like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how they're doing all of this investigation.
Yeah. So then on September 27th, it was announced that Dog the Bounty Hunter confirmed a strong lead on Brian's possible location. He thinks that he may be or has been in Fort DeSoto Park in Florida. He claims that the Laundrie family took 2 separate trips to Florida. The first one was from September 1st through September 3rd.
The second trip was from September 6th through September 8th. 3 people checked in to the park and only 2 ended up leaving. Dog said they were registered, went through the gate, they're on camera, they were here. The Laundrie family attorney has confirmed the family camped there during these dates, and they had to mention this, which honestly pissed me off. Mentioned this was before Gabby was ever reported missing to make it seem like they were not doing anything wrong, is what I'm assuming. Like, oh yeah, they went there, but like that was before she was, declared missing. So they just went camping. Like, what's the harm there? Neighbors also reported that they bought a camper that is an addition to like a pickup truck. It goes on the back right after Brian came back.
Right.
Before this camping trip. So like,
so the same day that he got back is when they went to the location. It was declared missing, but not before she was actually missing.
Exactly.
That doesn't even,
like, that's your argument,
right?
Really?
What? And so they waited a few days even after that to then call and be like, oh yeah, he's been missing,
and we're so worried about him.
Are we ready to get into our main segment of today's episode?
Conspiracy theories. So we each chose two conspiracy theories to tell each other about. Most likely we already know about them because we do talk about this in our like personal life together.
Yeah. We just find them so fascinating. Like I know there's some people that don't like them or like don't like hearing them or listening to them, but like they just fascinate us.
Stay woke, guys. Question everything, you know? Question everything. Like be skeptical about stuff because you just never know.
I feel like there's an like infinite amount of possibilities.
Right. And like who's to say? If there's no actual answer, who the hell is to say?
Right, exactly. All right, so let's get into the first one. So I did one on the Hollow Earth conspiracy theory. So with the Hollow Earth theory, it also goes into inner Earth civilizations. And we've talked about this before, me and you, and we watched a video that was on YouTube that's not on YouTube anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the title comes up because I've searched the video before, so it'll come up on the search bar, but when I actually click on it, it's nowhere to be found. It's been taken off of YouTube. Science says right now that, you know, there's different layers of the earth down to the
layers, right?
Yeah, and it's like super hot in the center or something like that, right? But this theory is that the earth is actually hollow, and the idea first came about, it was believed, like it was taken really seriously by like the scientists and politicians and all that stuff. But yeah, it was taken seriously, but I guess at some point it got like disproven. But there's still like believers to this day because there's certain things that kind of just don't add up to whatever science is supposedly out there. But this idea first got proposed in 1692. Yeah, and I looked at it again, I was like, 1692, goddamn. A scientist named Edmund Halley, he believed that the earth was filled with like a series of nested spherical, like almost like eggs like type things, and they're kind of like just spinning in different circles, but there was like spaces in between them,
each individual one.
Yeah, and he said that, or he believed that the layers in between their atmosphere could support, like it supported life. That's what he believed, and that was before like the whole inner earth civilization theories came about. But he had already said, like, I believe that, you know, these atmospheres will support life. So then there was that. Then in 1818, another guy like believed that the entrances to the hollow earth was through the poles, so through the North Pole and the South Pole, and he named it the Sims holes because that was his last name. Real creative. Okay, so part of the theory too, that so it's not just like this, that was kind of like the sciencey part, I guess, like this is what scientists believe, but there's also a lot of ideology and like mythology in different cultures about inner earth civilizations. But they called it like, in Buddhism they called it the inner worlds, like Agartha or Agarthi, like one of those it's called. But they also believe this in like native Indian cultures, mythology, Russian, Brazilian Indians, and Hindu. Like all have some kind of thing, like like all have some kind of like ancient mythology about like a planet inside of our planet, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't even just like science and what people were finding or not, but it was also like in a lot of ideology.
Yeah,
so that's kind of another reason why people believe it. And like, I don't know, I love learning about mythology too anyway.
Yeah, that's
so like
so interesting.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, I just thought it was kind of cool that a lot of other I guess cultures believe in it too.
Right, and that their stories line up similarly.
Yeah.
Or describe like, a similar place, I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think some of them even kind of refer to it as almost like a heaven or like an afterlife type thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say an oasis.
Yeah, like, but I don't think all of them thought that, but some people do, like maybe some part of afterlife or whatever. So another thing that kind of supported this idea was some polar explorer named Admiral Richard Byrd. He flew over the North Pole, and he had a journal, and he wrote down in this journal that on his way there, he's seen this like mysterious land around the North Pole, or like past the North Pole, and it had like lush green or something like that, like lush green areas in the North Pole. So obviously you shouldn't see that. This shouldn't be there. And he wrote it down as the center of the great unknown.
What do you call it that?
Right. The fact that this is like, so it was 1947 this happened. So there's already like journals about it, you know, like journal entries.
Yeah.
And 3 years later he flew to the South Pole, and there he reports that there was some entrance to an inner earth that was populated by like really advanced beings, and like that he came in contact with them, like talked with them and whatever, and seen new kinds of crafts that could fly from pole to pole.
In between the earth?
I don't know.
Or like through it?
Maybe through it, yeah.
Like in tunnels?
I don't know. But like, do you think it would be like UFOs? Or like it would go out and then go around the earth to the inner? Like, I don't know, right? Like, it just leads to so many different things.
Yeah, a lot of people speculate about the ocean and how maybe the aliens have like a base in the ocean, and that's why NASA, because NASA was, speaking of NASA, we'll get into that too, but like NASA was originally created for the exploration of the ocean, but they switched to do the earth, and I mean to do space, which is also kind of weird, you know? So
yeah,
I don't know, maybe there could also be a portal to the inner civilizations, whatever.
Woohoo.
Yeah, maybe there's a portal to in the ocean, because deep, like nobody's gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've never even tried to send like drones or anything, which I'm pretty sure at this point there's enough technology
That's right.
to make it to the bottom of the ocean, but it's never been done.
I wouldn't doubt
Why?
it.
Interesting.
Yeah, they couldn't. They can't get down there. So okay, so they seen those. And this, so that man's journal is actually like one of the biggest pieces of evidence that the people who believe in the hollow earth theory, like they always refer to that one because it's
To this day.
Yeah, because it's, you know, it's from so long ago. Like
Mm-hmm.
what he says is his own experiences, what he's seen, who he talks to or whatever.
Right.
And then the crazier part about that too is that when he returned to the US, the government brought him in because he like announced it pretty much, you know. So that by the time
live
he
stream
got
from
back,
the South Pole.
I know, he like, I don't know. He goes, going live, guys, welcome to my IGTV.
Here's my reel of my experience.
Yeah. It's a whole montage. I don't know how he did it. He announced it, so by the time he got back to the US, the government like brought him in. They like interrogated him pretty much, and then they told him he wasn't allowed to talk about it further, like about anywhere else. Whatever else he wrote down, whatever's actually in the journal, he can't release. Like they couldn't talk about it, but they know it's
it. Like people refer to the journal, but they don't know what's actually in the journal other than what he said was in the journal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's got to be some juicy shit.
Exactly. Like why would they not allow him to talk about it?
Yeah.
This is kind of like where the, I guess, research or whatever part of it ends. So that's why it's still like a theory.
Wait, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know when JFK was president? Was it during this time?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because he was the only president who was really, really spilling some shit. And they were like getting on him. And that's why I think he was assassinated for sure. He's a whole ass other conspiracy. But I'm just curious to know, like, if that's why the guy felt so like open.
Right. Let's see. Oh no, it was Truman. Harry S. Truman.
Damn. Was it before or after?
In 1961. So after.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He would have been all over that shit.
Right. So to end it all, in the mid 2000s and early 2010s, there was an expedition known as the North Pole Inner Earth Expedition. And after like a lot of setbacks, including like pretty much casualties, like a lot of the team members, I guess, ended up getting cancer or they died in like plane crashes. I don't know if it wasn't able to make it to the either pole. Or to the North Pole. I don't know. But eventually, because of all of that, they just put the expedition on a hiatus and
it never happened.
Yeah. So that's kind of where the research ends on it. And so there's like no more answers after that. It's all things that have been like supposedly, seen in the past.
What the hell?
But it's believed that there isn't a hollow earth. And there's this whole civilizations. What about the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh
what
my
if
God.
the Bermuda Triangle was one of the places from the ocean that you could get to the inner earth? And that's the reason why every time anything that goes in it never comes out.
Dude.
Whoa.
It gets sucked in. It could be like a black hole, like a vacuum.
Dude, imagine.
Bro, when I was looking up conspiracy theories, because I didn't know at first which ones I wanted to do. I was looking up funny ones. I was looking up like serious ones. I seen one about freaking Amelia Earhart. That she got eaten by big old crabs, 30-foot long crabs.
What?
I was like, what?
Are we in fucking Moana or what?
I was like, what in the fucking Bermuda Triangle ass fucking crabs are y'all talking about? So one of the conspiracy theories that I chose to do was about the first moon landing. It would be way too much to do both of them. So I just chose the first one because it's enough in itself to be a topic. But for those of you who don't know, the first moon landing was on July 20th, 1969. At the time, the USSR and the USA were having a space race to see who was going to get to the moon first. The total cost of the Apollo program's missions was $25.4 billion, which now I looked it up is equivalent to more than $100 billion.
And then they say we're in debt.
Yeah. I don't know how they did this report, but after the Apollo 11 mission, 6%, which is equivalent to millions of Americans, reported in 1999 that they doubted that the landing was real. 5% said that they were undecided, which is equivalent to millions of people too.
Right.
There is so much speculation behind the moon landing and NASA in general, because it has been proven that NASA has lied to us, doctored photos and footage, like they edit things a certain way, they censor information that's given to the public. Like that's a proven thing at this point. One big piece of proof of them lying and everything like that is a photo of astronaut Michael Collins, who was on the later Gemini 10 spacewalk. Basically him floating, the picture is basically him floating in space, which is literally identical to the picture of him during a training that they had months prior. Like exact position. It literally just looks like they took the background out and put some
photoshopped him into on the moon.
No, dead ass. Like he's just floating. NASA also shuts off their live stream that they have going 24/7 from the International Space Station anytime weird things happen or weird objects are spotted on the cameras, including UFO sightings.
See, this is why it always gets me when people are like, there's no way that there's like anything out there in space. Like there's just no way. Mm-hmm. But then there's all this and information that's like clearly if it's just out there, like you can look it up and it's showing that it's been proven that they lie to us and fake things, but we're just supposed to assume and trust them with everything.
Yeah, right. And like obviously neither of us have been to the moon, so we don't know what's
right.
True. We don't know if there's really an American flag up there, y'all. Like don't know if we know that, to be honest. So it is what it is at this point. Let's get into some of the reasons why people think that this is faked. So for reference, if you guys didn't know, I didn't actually know this until I was researching, but the moon is 238,900 miles away. Just let that sink in for a second. Like 238,900 miles away, the moon is from the Earth.
How long would it take to get there?
Like that's a long fucking time.
I guess maybe they don't even know either because they didn't actually do it. No.
Right. Allegedly. And it also was documented that 500 million people tuned in to watch the live stream of the Apollo 11 astronaut Neil Armstrong and deliver his famous line. The famous line he delivered was, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The live stream included the ability to watch on TV and listen on the radio, but how did it reach them that far away with very little delay on the TV screens or to the radio? Using technology that's from the 60s and like to so many people all at once.
Right. How much? 500 million?
500 million people.
Yeah.
All on the same day, all at the same time. That's interesting. When we're recording right now and this shit's lagging and I'm sitting right next to the damn Wi-Fi box. Like you can't tell me in the 60s that the technology was better than it is now.
This is in 2021.
Yeah, like obviously they didn't use Wi-Fi back then, but you know what I mean? Like some theorists also bring up that with all the known and unknown hazards, NASA would not risk broadcasting an astronaut either getting sick, injured, or possibly even dying on television. Like they didn't know what was actually going to happen
to their bodies.
Yeah, like how could they risk live streaming the unknown of what could happen?
Yeah, huh?
You're not going to show on TV people dying or like the freaking space shuttle blowing up.
And why
would
they show it if they've already been like hiding so much other stuff?
Yeah, like it would cause mass panic.
Wow. Okay, that's a good point.
Also, because the reason why I brought that up is because 3 astronauts died in a fire during a ground test on the Apollo 1. Mind you, bringing it back to the actual quote unquote moon landing was Apollo 11. With that, I mean, 11, spacecrafts later, 10 spacecrafts later, they've improved things within the structure, blah, 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 but it's still never been done before to our knowledge. So
Right.
how could they, like, that's a liability, no?
Yeah. You would think for the
Yeah.
whole country.
The
Like,
world. I'm assuming
yeah.
it wasn't just the US that probably tuned in. I mean, I don't know, but because there was so much following it, they probably were tuning in from everywhere, which again, how the fuck did they
How did they do that all over the world?
It's just weird.
A live stream.
So one thing that I thought about during this was maybe they filmed it a few days prior or like a week prior, released it quote unquote live at a certain time. So that way they knew everything that happened was as planned. And, what if, obviously they do a lot of tests, but what if the astronaut messed up something or forgot to hit a certain button or whatever? Like they had to make sure that that footage all looked clean and perfect, like nothing bad happened, whatever. And then maybe they just released it. Like maybe it really did happen, but it wasn't really live when it happened,
Yeah.
Also, people point out the fact that the quality of the photos are very, very high quality, like super, super clear, super crisp. Some of them do look bad, but those are the ones that were taken from astronauts' like cameras, not using the ones that they were given for the actual launch. Especially the photo of the astronaut, it's a super, super clear photo, like perfectly clear.
And then, how did they get like cameras that they knew, like, I don't know, I'm assuming something have to do with atmosphere and like all this stuff. Like how did they get cameras and the technology not to like combust or something? I don't know why I think that would happen out in space.
Or like literally just
that's what I'm saying. Like how did they know that wasn't going to happen, and how did it not happen if they've never had technology out there before?
Right.
If we can't, I don't know, I'm assuming, I just don't get it.
And then also going back to how far away the moon is, how did they know they were going to make it for like round trip? That's almost 500,000 miles.
It's a whole movie right there. He returned, what is it, like Manifest, that they return like years later thinking that it's still the same time.
Oh my god, dude, that would be crazy. So conspiracy theorists are split between those who do not believe the landings happened at all and those that believe NASA employees have lied or at least have kind of not told the events the way that the events didn't happen the way that they were told or into the public. I'm kind of on that one. Like, I don't really know. I've
like they left some stuff out.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but it just looks really, really sketch for multiple reasons. And I brought up maybe three of them, three of the main ones that are really believed. Conspiracists have focused on looking for gaps and inconsistent information in historical records of the missions. Some claim that the technology used to send the men to the moon were lacking, or that Allen radiation belts, solar flare, solar wind, coronal mass ejections, cosmic rays made this trip impossible. So there's like a certain part when you get out of the Earth's atmosphere. There's a certain, I literally don't know what to call it, a belt, because there's like 10 words here. It just doesn't make sense because they didn't even report, because I seen something about that when you go through this, that you should see like, not fire, but I don't know, like something happened and they didn't report anything about it. Like being difficult to get through or what it looked like or anything.
Wow.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
So there's 3 points that are really, really believed by people and why they think this is a conspiracy. I also went as far as to looking up what NASA's reasoning was, like what they kind of combat it with. And the first one is, of course, the American flag. Everyone has seen that picture probably. It looks like it's, blowing in the wind, all majestic, like, and if they're in space, there obviously would be no wind. Like, how does that happen?
A nice little breeze.
Right. It's like they reported, sunny skies and a cool breeze on the coast. NASA's reasoning for this was that they designed special flags for the astronauts to take with them that made it look like this. Okay, fam.
You know that like blink, that sound when people just blink, like ding, 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 ding. Yeah. That's like me right now.
Yeah, literally. Another claim is that there are absolutely no stars in any of the photos, and Neil Armstrong himself claimed in a later press conference that he did not remember seeing any stars.
That's so funny. He said, "Fuck them."
Said absolutely no stars. NASA's reasoning, which actually kind of makes sense, so I'll give it to them for this one. NASA's reasoning for this was that all manned landings happened during the lunar daytime, meaning the stars were outshined by the sun and by the sunlight reflecting off the moon's surfaces. So basically, if it's daylight, the stars will be outshined by the sun.
Okay. I have so many questions. I'm not even gonna start it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though. Like if there's a shadow, I don't know. It made sense when I was typing it. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say the astronauts reported they could see stars with the naked eye only when they were in the shadow of the moon. So if they were only on a certain side of the moon, that
they could see the stars, but they're in the space. Like they're in space. All the stars are that much closer to them. They already got done 238,000 miles away. And
also the sun, how far is the sun from the moon?
Right. Because if the sun's out bright and shining, how are they that close to it?
Apparently not, because it reflects from the moon's surface. It reflects the light, making it to where the stars not.
But if the sun's out, the moon isn't lit that much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like if the sun's out, then that means the moon's not really that lit to reflect off. No,
girl, I
don't know. I have no fucking idea. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm not a scientist.
It's obviously I'm not a scientist neither, but it was one of the things that people are to this day still go off of. So, it could be either way. The last claim here is that the angle and the color of shadows are inconsistent, which suggests that artificial lighting was used when they made the live stream as well as the pictures. There's also another claim about the actual cameras, because on a lot of the photos you can see the Gina, what is that called on a camera? Like the little T, like where you focus.
Oh,
like just, you can see it through the lens finder. That little thing to like. You know what that's called?
Oh my god.
The point thing.
It's just the center of the camera.
You know what I'm talking about?
Centering your frame.
Right. That T thing, that little center point, is shown on the pictures.
Right. It shouldn't be.
But if you're taking it through the camera,
it's supposed to only be on the lens.
Would not cause that to be there. So it's almost like they took the picture of the camera like behind, but it's only a picture. It's not a picture of the camera it's just a picture of the thing, of the moon. People have pointed out shadows going the opposite way from where they should be going. So on, for example, one of the spacecrafts or whatever, the shadow is going the opposite way of how the object is.
So it makes no sense.
So instead of going away from the object, it's like coming toward you instead. Yeah. So that's why they believe artificial lighting was used, because it doesn't make any sense as to why the pictures and footage came out like that. And then the shadows are opposite. NASA's explanation for this was that shadows on the moon are complicated by reflected light, uneven ground, and wide-angled lens distortion.
There's a lot of those are a lot of different factors that they threw out there.
Right. It could be one of many.
They're like, it's a lot of different things as to why everything in this picture looks wrong, but it really happened.
It was actually made in a studio warehouse, but there's no other way to explain this.
Oh my god, that's insane. There's too many things that don't make sense and don't add up, that for me to believe that it actually happened, or just that in the way that they're saying.
Shouldn't be argued further. Like they're just like, oh yeah, it's just the lens distortion. No worries.
Yeah.
Huh? Like
they just came out with this most simple, like quick explanation and threw it out there.
And also, why after the second landing, supposedly, why have we not gone back?
Another good question.
with all the technology we have now.
Yeah.
They're talking about having Airbnbs and hotels in space that you can go to, but why haven't we been back to the moon? I'm confused.
They make us sandals on the moon.
Bitch, stop.
They're like, this is the ultimate space package, luxury.
Fucking- They're like, space water, anyone? Do you feel the space breeze?
Oh God.
I can't, bro. I can't. This shit is so, like, at this point, it's literally comical to me.
Yeah,
You know?
that's insane.
I know there's probably so many more conspiracies and like points to bring up as to evidence.
Oh, for sure.
This was literally just the first landing, and the second one has its own set of conspiracy theories and points about it. So yeah, if you guys liked it, maybe we could do the second one on another episode, but go ahead.
Oh, they did go a second time?
Yeah, and the whole point of the second landing was supposedly to get footage in color. But tell me why the astronaut who was supposedly in charge of doing this pointed the camera directly at the sun. In exchange, it fucking broke, and they had to end up using the black and white ones they used on the prior mission.
Yo, if that's true, he probably broke a fucking like $1 million camera.
But bitch, you mean to tell me an astronaut don't know to not do that?
Oh my gosh, look.
You wanted a picture of the sun for what? Like,
how was he even able to look at it? How was he able to just
I don't know
look
if
at the
he
sun?
was like trying to take a picture, if he literally just pointed it at the sun, or if that's what they just claim happened in what broke the camera.
Right.
But the whole point of the second mission was to get color footage. That did not happen, which is another reason why people don't believe it even happened in the beginning, because they believe it was done literally in Hollywood. Like, people actually believe that it was like filmed like a movie or something.
I wonder if we'll ever actually find out. Probably not, but
honestly, probably not.
Or maybe just not in our lifetime.
Maybe it'll be our kids who find out.
Right.
Like, maybe they'll be the investigators.
Like, yeah, our moms used to talk about it all the time.
A generational wealth, boo. All right, girl. What you got for me next?
Okay, so the next one that I was looking up was the Egyptian pyramid conspiracies.
Oh, I love this.
I know. I was like, I've always like heard about it, but I didn't really do like that much. Like, I don't know. I never really looked it up too much because I always just heard, because I heard the stories and stuff. But
yeah,
and
I would love to go to Egypt.
Oh my God, yeah. No, for real. Okay, so I personally think like we talked about it earlier, how we always we love learning about all the different conspiracies and stuff. For some reason, I feel like these are true. Like,
even the bogus ones.
Yeah,
like,
but I think these ones could be true. I don't know why. But so the theory is that people questioned how the Egyptians built the pyramids at that time because obviously they didn't have the same technology, the same tools that we have now. Those pyramids are literally still standing to this day, how many years later?
Right.
So it's like, how did they build them? So people, one of the theories is that extraterrestrials helped the ancient Egyptians build the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx and all that stuff.
I heard that.
And supposedly, I seen this somewhere, I have no idea what the facts are behind it, but supposedly there was the remains of like a human/alien hybrid baby, which proved that there was intelligent life on the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, intelligent life of the universe on Earth.
Right. I've heard of that too. But then again, how did they do the deed?
I don't know. I mean, they're probing anyways. They're probing with something.
Bitch, if you gave birth to an alien baby, what would you do?
Bro, it would literally be inside you. Like, you would feel an alien baby inside of you. Oh my God,
it would be like that one scary movie.
What if it talked to you through telepathically and from your belly?
But what if it was pretending not to be your baby and just like playing tricks on you, like acting like you could hear voices and shit? Bro, I would go crazy.
Oh my God. What if every time they had to give birth to a human/baby, I mean human/alien baby, a human/alien baby, what if the I don't even know if it'd be only women would give birth. I don't know if guys would have been able to also, but they probably would have made the women though. Let's be real.
Wait, what if
They
the
all
woman
died.
alien could impregnate a human man?
That would be sick. Then it'd be the other way around for once.
Yeah.
So that theory also said that like 12 feet tall people lived on the earth as well during that time. So that's one theory, right? So in the 1990s, a secret door with red writing on the outside was found inside one of the Great Pyramids. And I guess some researchers, like, they put in like a little robot to drill a hole through the door and to try to see inside, because they had a little camera. And I guess they said that there was nothing inside. They couldn't see anything, but they never gave the videos as proof that there was nothing in there. They wouldn't show the videos.
But how do these researchers have authority to do that? Like, who?
Well, after that, they were
pyramids. The government?
Egyptian government. Probably, yeah, the Egyptian government. So after that, actually, they forbade abroad researchers to do any kind of research.
They should be catching that shit regardless.
Right, exactly. That's what you would think. But I guess like it was like in the beginning, I have no idea, honestly. Like I guess they just felt like they had the freedom to do that.
Right.
The Egyptian government forbade abroad researchers to look for themselves now. So that was kind of cut off. And then
well, I'm kind of glad, to be honest.
Right. No, for real.
Because there's even like mummified bodies in there. Like, respect, man.
Where was it? There's like a recent something about them digging up a mummy.
Breaking in.
And
like, yeah.
I'm like, I just feel like there's so many curses that have to come up with that. Like, I would not want to be anywhere near where that was happening.
Dude, the King Tut curse. Have you heard of that?
Dude, King Tut. I haven't heard of the curse actually, but I like learned about King Tut and like his background, and it's real sick.
It is, but there is some shit. Like,
yeah, I don't know why people just assume that. I don't know. I would literally never go near anything that, no.
Yeah.
There are also Russian intelligence archives. There's like files and reports of them detailing some like strong and really like a strange electromagnetic field surrounding them while they were inside the pyramids. This was before they like forbade the research and stuff. And it said, in quotes, during inspection of the wall segment, we noted an odd sensation, a magnetic repulsive force that seemed to be emanating from the rock, and we're unable to find any scientific explanation, end quote. They like did more research after that, and there was nothing that showed that there was a difference in the energy from inside the pyramid and outside. So supposedly that was like disproved,
debunked
or whatever.
Yeah.
In 2017, they used these machines or products of cosmic rays, and it revealed that there was a large, previously unidentified chamber inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. So there was already actually two known chambers. There was the King's Chamber, there was the Queen's Chamber, and then there was a passageway that they called, what did they call it? The Grand Gallery. And it was like a sloping passageway, so like stairs going like slanted. And so those are the three things they had already known. And I think those were identified in the 9th century or the 19th century, one of those. So in 2017, that was like the newest, that's the most recent discovery, that there was now another chamber that was not known before. I don't think they know what's in it, but they now know it's there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
They used cosmic rays, products of cosmic rays, to see inside the closed pyramid.
Inside.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue. Okay.
I'll just go with it.
That sounds like some NASA. It's the fucking distance from the shadow of the camera. Like some type of explanation.
It's a special flag.
Like, what? This shit, man. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know what they ended up really doing with that information, because they don't know what's inside of it. So
right. It's like, okay, and like
yeah, so that's there supposedly. No one knows what's in it. But this one, okay, I've heard this before, and this one I think is like really, really interesting. There's like a legend or whatever, I guess, like this the theory that there's a maze. So like the Sphinx of Giza, like the famous Sphinx. Supposedly underneath one of the paws.
One more time.
Take a shot every time I say Sphinx. Not if you're driving though.
Right, don't do that if you're driving.
That underneath one of the paws, there's like some passageway that leads to this library of like, well, it's called It's called the what is it called? The Hall of Records. They call it the Hall of Records, or like Library of Knowledge. And supposedly it's this like just the library of all essential knowledge, like mathematics, astronomy, magic, like medicine, everything. Like I think even like information about the continent of Atlantis, all, like extraterrestrials, all that kind of stuff. Oh,
all the conspiracies that we need to research and that we talk about. That
supposedly all of that
information
is in that Hall of Records underneath the Sphinx's paw. And supposedly like someone did try, or like people did try drilling, I think, into it to try to find it, but it almost destroyed the whole structure.
Well, yeah. They don't even know what it's made out of, do they?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Like mineral or what?
Yeah.
Stone or whatever.
And so that obviously got like banned too. So now no one's able to touch it. Thank God. There was a guy. So I don't, it didn't say when. I looked it up and it didn't say when. It just said modern era. But supposedly there was a man named Edgar K. And he was like some like faith healer. And he like spoke about the Hall of Records. And he's saying that he knows that it exists, that it's underneath the right paw. There's a chamber that will take you to it. And he's saying that he knows this because he's the reincarnation of a high priest who used to live on the island of Atlantis.
Wow.
He's saying that he like knows all this information, and supposedly like the priests at that time, they were given the knowledge. So that's why like he's saying that he was a reincarnation of one of them, because he would have known how to get there and where to go. Back then. Right.
They didn't have a reason to hide things.
Yeah. And so they've been obviously trying to like prove that.
I was going to say back then they probably didn't have a reason to hide things, but that doesn't make sense because they did hide it in his paw. Like it's not known information to everyone now, you know?
Oh yeah. Like it was to like the
high people.
I don't know what you would call them, the royals or the higher ups. For them it was like the common knowledge, but they're hiding it from everyone else. Those are like some of the conspiracies about Egyptian pyramids and the Sphinx.
That's crazy. I definitely believe it though, for sure.
And you know what's actually really weird is that so if anyone watches Avatar or has watched Avatar, the Last Airbender, the like anime like cartoon show, there's the episode where they go, well actually a couple episodes, but there's a part where they go to the desert and there's a hidden library underneath the sand where they go to, and that's again, it's the library of like all the knowledge of like, there's like what's it, like a bookkeeper. Yeah, like he kind of,
you're like, thank you.
Yeah. He's like a bookkeeper, like
for phone a friend.
Keep it safe and protected. And what's it called? And I just thought it was weird because like a kid's like anime show kind of like referenced that without referencing it. Right. So maybe it's like in other mythology. Yeah, maybe it's in other mythology too, and like other ideology, whatever. Like other people believe that too, you know?
Because each ancient civilization has some type of remaining, I don't want to say building because I don't think a pyramid's like a building, but like some type of structure,
right,
that gives evidence that they were there, right? So who the hell's to say that every culture or civilization doesn't have that type of information hidden into those like legacies, you know?
It's crazy to think what kind of information is there, you know?
Dude, it's probably literally everything.
Like it's insane.
Like anything and everything. The last topic that I have for today is the Denver International Airport conspiracy, or the DIA. So I may reference DIA rather than saying Denver International Airport going forward because it's a lot.
I've actually never heard of this one.
Never?
No, I've never heard of this one.
Oh my God, it's so interesting. You're going to love it.
Okay, I'm excited.
So this airport was built as a replacement for the Stapleton Airport near Denver in 1995. From the beginning of construction, Coloradans have theorized about the airport's secret tunnels, clues to Nazi secret societies, and about the horrifying artwork found in the common areas.
Horrifying artwork?
Yes. Like basically alluding to doomsday.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. There are many theories behind who built the airport or like who was behind it. Mm-hmm. One of the theories is that the airport was built by the New World Order and with ties to I don't know if it's Nazism or Nazism, but ties to the Nazis.
Oh, basically. Shit.
Another thing that supports this specific theory would be that the airport's runways are built in the shape of a swastika and it can be seen from above, like
Girl,
from
why?
yeah,
Oh my God.
like you can literally look it up, dude. It's fucking crazy.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. In addition to being built by some Nazi world order, people also believe that this airport is Illuminati's headquarters. This theory
Ooh,
can,
the Illuminati in
yeah,
there?
yeah, like people of like high society,
Huh.
basically. This theory came from a time capsule that was found buried on the property and contains symbols from the Freemasons, which are allegedly linked to the Illuminati.
I don't know why I like the word Illuminati, but I know it's something really bad.
I
But I
know.
just like the word.
Yeah, it looks really cool. And like also, why are they called that? Doesn't that mean like illuminating means light? No, like
Right, what does that mean?
you're
Should we
making,
look up what that, if it has a
I
meaning?
don't know if the Illuminati, if that's what it means, but
Is that what it?
I'm all covering my camera on the iPad while I'm talking about this while we're fucking recording.
Oh yeah, people claiming to possess special enlightenment or knowledge of something. Huh.
That's interesting, bro.
Yeah.
Another supporting point about this theory is that the construction costed a lot more money than expected originally, and some point to Illuminati having the money to support the build in order to use the property. It was like, I forgot to write it down, but it was like a shit ton of money, like billions of dollars.
To build the airport?
Yeah, to rebuild it.
Okay.
The airport also has underground tunnels, including a train that runs between the tunnels from one side to the other, and an automated baggage system underneath, like underground.
Why?
I don't know. Some have theorized that the tunnels contain bunkers that will serve as a safe place for the world's elite during the apocalypse.
Dang, because they know it's gonna happen, or
It literally didn't say if
Excuse
an
me.
apocalypse happens online. It literally says
yeah,
during the apocalypse.
during
Yeah, I'm not
ew,
even kidding.
I don't like that.
Others believe that these tunnels lead to NORAD, which is the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is located in Colorado Springs, which is literally 100 miles south of the airport. So that's kind of harder,
Probably a quick train ride
but
underneath
it's
those
harder
tunnels.
to believe that they could build a tunnel 100 miles long.
They got how much? Well, apparently they can also send cameras into space in the fucking 60s. Guess
That's true. Touche. The art in the airport includes some pretty eerie murals done by the artist Leo Tanguma, which some believe have alleged Nazi imagery. In reality, Tanguma's murals are about world peace and a healthy environment despite their frightening look. And if you look at them, it shows like a soldier guy on top coming out of like the world, and then there's just chaos everywhere. There's even like dead babies and dead people in certain murals.
oh my
So
god.
he says it's supposed to be for peace and a healthy environment despite the way that they look.
So is he like putting on the forefront of like what the earth is really like so he can show what it needs, or like is it to like hold a mirror up to I'm just kind of confused on how.
Yeah, like how
like why would you show dead babies to show a healthy environment?
Right.
Unless you're trying to point out
what's already happening here.
Yeah. You know?
And even like doomsday pictures of like mass chaos.
So is he part of the Illuminati? Is he so like, he has that special enlightenment and knows about what's going to happen?
Right. I don't know. I have no idea. He supposedly is an artist and just was hired to do these murals. And it's also weird because why would that be in an airport? That's not going to be comforting to people who are about to get on a flight.
On an airplane. Yeah.
Like that, I would literally be like, a fuck no.
I'm going home.
I'm going home. Like that's not no. No, thank you.
But if someone was to say bomb inside the airport, that's perfectly fine.
I think that's a felony.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine, but you can have the murals like that.
It's just crazy. There's also gargoyles that can be found outside of the building, and some find this suspicious because why do you need that on an airport? However, gargoyles have been used in architecture to ward off evil spirits from buildings for centuries. So that's their counter argument.
Okay.
The most crazy about the artwork part of it, this is my last point to bring up, which I find the most compelling, I guess. is the Blue Mustang, also known as Blucifer, is a 32-foot fiberglass sculpture by artist Luis Jimenez, located along Peña Boulevard, which is where the airport is. Like you can see it from when you're landing.
You can see this sculpture?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People point out the statue's glowing red eyes as being very creepy and sinister.
With the name Lucifer?
Right.
Like I get blue, but why Lucifer?
Exactly.
You know, that...
Jimenez actually died 2 years before the piece was completed when a piece of the statue fell on him and severed an artery in his leg.
Oh my God.
So he couldn't finish the sculpture. Someone else, I think, had to finish it.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy? Like coincidence? I don't think so. And it's called Blucifer.
Yeah.
Like what?
And why make it like if people are saying that it's giving off a creepy and sinister vibe, why would you want that in your airport as people are landing? Or
exactly.
leaving?
Like they literally see it. What is the purpose? And it has glowing red eyes, like lights in the eyes.
That's insane.
Why is that necessary?
Yeah. Why was it even thought of?
I don't know. And why would you put it at an airport? Again, it's just weird. Like a bunch of weird things in one area that makes no sense. And the staff.
This is still an airport that's open and people fly out of?
Yes.
Whoa.
To this day. And the staff actually embrace the conspiracy and all of them. And they like basically think it's funny and they play off of it. Even on their
they feed into it.
Yeah.
They feed into it on their website.
Yes.
What?
They're like,
what do they say?
I'll just run with it, basically, is what they say. Like they basically are like, well, you know, it gets people talking about the airport and it gets blah, blah, blah. So we just let them, you know, whatever.
That's like Spirit Airlines. If Spirit Airlines was to be like playing into how everyone talks shit about how shitty their flights are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if they were to feed into it, like, yep, you might die on this plane ride.
No.
You might not make it.
Yeah. Like what in the fuck?
That makes no sense.
I just could not imagine if you're just on your first flight ever, you're leaving out of DIA airport, you freaking walk through, you first see the gargoyles outside, you're like, that's fucking weird. Yeah. You walk inside, you check your bag,
hella different signs not to do this and not to get on this
flight. You see all these murals about burning and dying and doomsday. Then you gotta board a flight and see this glowing red blue statue. Like, huh?
No, I would if I lived in Colorado, I would refuse to go to that airport.
Buy a Mustang horse.
Yeah. Buy a blue horse.
I don't know. What my question is about the artist and about the art is that were they contracted to do those specific pieces, or were they
freedom to like come up with the idea,
employed with the airport and they were given artistic freedom? I don't know. That's weird. It definitely wouldn't be things I would think to put on an airport to be.
Yeah. It's not comforting. It's not
that's the basic
inviting. It's the complete opposite, actually.
No. Calming, nothing.
That's crazy. I can't believe they're like, you know, people are flying in and out of there.
Like, that's weird.
I really wouldn't.
Yeah. Still today, I would never go there.
No.
I would probably go like to see what it looked like.
Never fly out in or out of there.
Just because I knew about the conspiracy, but I would never fly out. No, absolutely. But there's another airport in Colorado. So if we ever do go visit, we could just find the other one.
Just use the other one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so interesting. I never heard about that one.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
That was really, really fun. So do you think that this last one, like, do you believe it, or what do you think?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think
that's just it's too weird. Like, there's just too many. It's just everything's like, why?
There's just too much.
It's like, why do you need that? Why did you choose that? You know, yeah. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna agree with this conspiracy. That's something weird's going on over there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's specifically the Illuminati. I don't know how you would even prove that.
Right.
But definitely some weird things going on.
Something
there. From the beginning.
Yeah.
But with that being said, guys, I know this episode is a little different for people who probably aren't as like open to these ideas.
Yeah, like into conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So hopefully at least you found the information interesting and you can form your own opinions. We're not saying our opinions are right or yours are wrong.
Yeah.
Versa. we're just presenting the facts and what people believe. And so
Right.
you guys,
There's infinite amount of possibilities that this could be all wrong too.
right.
So we're just kind of sharing what's out there and sharing like what we think.
Yeah.
But there's like millions of other theories and what people think is actually going on.
Right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it and you stay tuned for next week's episode.
If you have any other ideas or you did like it and you want us to do more, let us know on our Instagram, on Twitter.
We had a lot more topics for this specific episode today, but we knew we were not going to have enough time for everything. So we already have, topics ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Princess Diana.
Ready. So
we got her whole story.
You ask, we'll deliver.
Right. You let us know.
So quote of the week is, all we have to do is decide what to do with the time that is given to us. And I feel like that just hit me real nice right now because I feel like where I'm at right now, I feel like there's so much that I want to do and want to branch out with. And I feel like I just need to really manage my time and make sure all that stuff happens. So I really liked that one.
Yeah. I think
it's a good reminder for all of us.
Right. And it's also, for me, it was also kind of a reminder to be in the moment and not always so focused on the future or the past, because where you are in that moment, like you're not going to get it back. So you may as well do with it what you will in that time, so. And
like I have kind of like no fear in a sense.
Yeah.
Like just decide this is what you're going to do and then do it.
Right.
Like
another quote would also be kind of piggybacking off of that is, time's going to fly by or go by regardless. It's what you do with it that makes it either a disappointment to yourself or, you really make yourself proud of what you do with time, even if it's resting. Like, I hate that people put such a stigma on if you take a break or if you take, time to rest, that you're being lazy or that you're not being productive or that it's just seen as a negative thing, and that you can't pour from an empty cup. Like, you have to be able to be your best version to then be the best version for other people.
Right. Definitely take your breaks, take your time for your self-care, but don't lag on it either. Like, don't stay stagnant. Like, give yourself the break.
Like, you're on your own time.
And then,
you set your
push
own
from there, because time is going to keep going. Like, time doesn't wait for you. So have your moments and then keep it pushing.
Have a beautiful week.
We're so excited to speak with you guys again next week.
Let us know what to talk about on Instagram. We do accept ideas there. Bye.
Bye.